dinner.
He doesn't know.
My wife and kids had corned beef and cabbage, and they did all the green stuff. So I gotta go against I go against the family.
Okay.
They're all rooting for UConn. I'm rooting for Syracuse, Orange. Yeah.
Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland.
I don't even know where is Ireland. I failed geography. No. I think we're all set. Good evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of North Branford Planning and Zoning for Thursday, March 17th to order. In attendance are members Sienna, Gunn, Leskovitz, and Dulac. Want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day, right? Okay, yeah. Before we get started, just a scheduling note. Our next meeting was originally scheduled for April 7th. That meeting has been canceled, and we are going to be having that meeting on March 31st. So the April 7th meeting will be canceled, and we'll be having that meeting on March 31st. I'm going to try to post it up on Facebook, on North Branford Proud, and a couple other places, just to get it out there in case anybody doesn't see it on TV or or look online. So I'll try to post it in a couple different places there. The first order of business are our meeting minutes from March 3rd, which Carrie sent in the packet. Let's just see who was here. Fran was here, and Ron was here, and I was here, so we can take action on that. All right.
I make a motion we approve the meetings, the minutes of March 3rd, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm stating.
3-0, and Charlie abstained. That's yours. That's mine. All right, our next let's see, new business is a public hearing for PZ application 2016-4, and this legal notice. Fran, do you want to do this? Show.
North Planning and Zoning Commission legal notice. Notice is hereby given that the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 17, 2016, at North Branford Town Hall, 909 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut, to consider the following. P&Z application number 2016-4, special use permit request under section 23.1, Schedule A, line A11, to allow an accessory dwelling unit over 600 square feet at 40 Doral Farm Road, map 23, lot 26B7, R40 zone. Owner applicant Linda Erler. At this hearing, all interested parties may appear and be heard, and written communication will be received. Copies of proposal on file at public inspection at the Town Hall Planning Department. Harry Dulac.
In attendance for this public hearings are members Sienna, Gunn, Leskovitz, and Dulac. Are you outside?
Yeah, you can have her just answer the question.
Okay, so if you could step up, your name and address. We'll start off with that.
Sure. My name is Linda Erler, 40 Doral Farms Road.
And Linda, can you just kind of give us do you have any plans or anything, or?
I
think she
yeah.
did.
Oh, was it in the?
Here.
Okay. So if you want to just kind of walk us through what you're doing, why you're doing, the whole deal.
Sure. 19 years ago, I grew up in North Branford, and my parents had a house here. I had a house here. My father passed away. I had gotten divorced, and we decided that my mom and I decided we were going to try to build something together. So we were talking to the people who were doing Durrell Farms, and the builder started faxing me plans and things that could be, have like an in-law apartment. So we were fine, it's like, this is okay with town, yeah, don't worry, everything's great. So he built the house, and that's how I bought it. And this year I went to go, and I've had the house refinanced, I've had it appraised, nobody's ever said anything to me. This year I went to refinance, and the appraiser came in and said, nope, this is an illegal apartment. I called the town hall, you can't have this. So this was all news to me. And then Carrie came over, and I want to make it right. I
Right.
don't want I don't have any trouble with it, I just want it to be right.
So this is existing, you're not really, you're not
I'm not
redoing
doing anything.
Gotcha, all right.
So, as Ms. Erler said, the building official and I went out to the property to just make sure that there was an accessory apartment, which there is. So as you can see on the plans, you can't tell from the outside of the home. It's not different than any other home on Durrell Farms Road from the outside. On the inside, there's an apartment essentially on the first floor with, it's distinguished as an apartment because there's a kitchen and a living space and a bathroom, and then on the second floor, there's essentially this very similar layout with a kitchen on the second floor. So
In the original plans, it's, that first floor is there, but it's like a rec room. It's
Right.
like a huge rec room and then possibly another bedroom. Sorry.
No. So in order to get Ms. Erler through the process, she went before Zoning Board of Appeals in January, I believe.
Yeah, January 28th, I think it was, something.
Because she needed a variance for the larger unit, which she received. So then, now she's here for the special use permit. So the notifications look like they were all sent out. There were a few, maybe people that have moved, but there's quite a few of them, as you can see.
Any referrals? We probably didn't need any, did we?
I went through the process,
Okay.
just, so the building official just said that she must demonstrate compliance with the correct Connecticut building code. So he'll, I imagine, go out to the site afterwards and just make sure that there's the appropriate number of smoke detectors.
What makes this a mother-in-law apartment?
Is that the end of your
I heard
question?
you, I heard you say 2 kitchens, and not to be ethnic about this, but I don't know one Italian family that doesn't have 2 kitchens.
What, I look Italian? I'm only
No, no,
kidding.
no, no,
I'm
no,
only
I'm
joking.
just, You know, the old traditional canning
Yeah,
kitchen in the
absolutely.
basement has always been a staple.
So that's essentially it, though. It's the second kitchen with the dwelling unit. So again, looking at the current definition of the accessory dwelling unit, an additional dwelling unit, accessory and subordinate to the primary detached dwelling, which is attached to or located within a single-family dwelling containing a floor area not exceeding 1/4 or 1/4 of the gross floor area of the principal unit, or 600 square feet, whichever is less, equipped with its own kitchen, including stove, bath, and bedrooms.
So it could be within too. It could be within.
It actually has to be within or connected to.
It doesn't, yeah,
Right.
but in this case, it's within.
Right.
Right.
So what they built meets our current
Yeah.
requirements, right?
Yep.
Right, it's an accessory dwelling unit. This is where it's challenging, because I think where you're going with this is, I mean, you can have, what prohibits someone from having 2 kitchens, it automatically makes it an accessory dwelling unit. One of the things that I was looking for in their unit or their home is a separation, like a separate entrance to the second unit, or a door. But even if, first of all, that wasn't there, but even if it was there, that's not in the definition. It doesn't say in here that you have to have 2 distinct separate units. If subordinate to the primary, but one is a little bit smaller than the other one. This is the challenge with this definition.
And it's not accessory dwelling unless they come to planning and zoning and request it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a one-family house that has, like you said,
Well, no,
2 kitchens. It wouldn't be necessarily, you can have 2 kitchens and not be an accessory dwelling.
how though? Because according to this, if you have
Well,
If you have an
have-
additional
No,
dwelling
But if you
unit.
have one
to come for-
family.
You have to come for an accessory dwelling.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Once you come, I mean, if you had two kids, you built a house with 2 kitchens in it, you're just building your house. But unless you come to planning and zoning to request accessory dwelling, then you wouldn't get that designation. In this case, because you're having your in-law apartment in this case,
yeah,
or maybe you're doing it for other reasons.
yeah.
It's an accessory dwelling for 2 separate, you know, your main family, maybe you and then the in-law, whether you're doing an apartment or whatever it might be. But until you come here for that, it's just a single family house that happens to have 2 kitchens in it. You can have it in the basement.
In other words, if I lived in a raised ranch and it was just my family and all my children, I might choose to cook a lot of stuff in the basement, especially like Kay says, Italian families, you do a lot of baking
Right.
and canning. And you may even have somebody sleeping down there because your house isn't big enough, so you make a room for one of the kids. Doesn't really make an accessory dwelling unless you come and ask for it, right?
Yeah.
So, but according to this, it is an accessory dwelling unit.
I know, but
And that's where Ms. Erler ran into the issue with the appraiser saying, where are your permits? It just,
But this,
No?
yeah, I'm just saying this she's got it appraised before with no issues. It just happens to be this time. So maybe there's a distinction on their end. But I mean, as far as planning and zoning goes,
well,
my
we can.
my interpretation is that unless you request it, it's a single-family home. If you're gonna have an in-law apartment or an apartment in general, then you have to come for accessory dwelling. But if it's just a single-family use, you know.
Well, we're
See,
going to
it doesn't
assume
require-
that this
it
is
doesn't
an
require-
accessory dwelling.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And that's what we're going to look at.
yeah.
well, it's something that because we're looking at that definition in the zoning regs in April, I think we
I
should
know.
really look at that.
Yeah, clarify that it's only,
Because it becomes a very slippery slope from an enforcement side of what's an apartment and what's not. Just because someone didn't come here and they have it, does that make it?
right. I'm sure
Legal?
there's people out there that, have people living within their house,
Mhm.
didn't expand it. So they have the original footprint. They build a one-family house. They have somebody move in with them, who's living with them, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's accessory dwelling until, maybe if they want to separate part of the house out. In this case, we're doing it because the appraiser came back and is requiring it, but the other appraisers did. So I would still think it's considered a family house, but in this case, I think we, in order to
Mhm.
help the homeowner, we would, designate it that.
Right.
Wouldn't it also be there's no exit from the area, from the accessory dwelling, there's no direct outside exit, is
No,
there?
there is. There's a, there's a back door in the kitchen.
Is the upstairs or downstairs where the?
There's, downstairs, there's a back door by the kitchen, and upstairs, there's a sliding glass door.
Okay. So there's 2.
With stairs going from the sliding glass door upstairs?
Yeah, there's a very small deck with stairs going down. But there's no, when you walk in, there's no door or walls or anything to stop anybody from going upstairs. You could either go upstairs or you could go straight into my mom's apartment.
Do you have any referrals?
So I mentioned the building official. The town engineer said the property is connected to public water, municipal sanitary sewers. He has no outstanding engineering staff comments. Regional Water Authority had no issue. That's from Ron Walters. And he said, based on the information submitted, we have no comment, and the zoning enforcement officer also had no comment.
Anybody else have any comments? Anybody from the public like to speak on this matter? Seeing no, I'm going to close the public hearing.
Okay.
So we'll take action on this shortly.
Okay, do I
Thank
stay
you.
here? or-
You-
Okay.
You can, it's probably take another couple minutes
Okay.
or so.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay. So our next order of business is the PZ application 2016-4. Okay. Is there any discussion on that? Right. So we would like to read a motion.
I move to approve P&Z application 2016-4, special use permit, accessory dwelling unit under section 42.5.5 and section 23, Schedule A, line A11, to permit an existing accessory dwelling unit located within a single-family dwelling at 40 Doral Farms Road, Assessor Map 23, Lot B 26, 26B7, I3 zone with an affordable housing overlay district. Owner applicant Linda Erler, as shown on the submitted application map and floor plan drawings, subject to the following conditions. Conformance to the requirements of section 42.5.5 of the zoning regulations and ZBA January 25th, 2016 approved variance of section 42.5.5 F to allow a 962 square foot accessory dwelling unit where only 532 square feet is allowed. Adherence to all building codes and fire safety codes. And reasons for the approval: it approves accessory dwelling maintains a single-family house appearance. Proposal provides an alternate housing option that enables family members to live in the same structure and provide additional care for one or another.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, we've seen a lot of stuff, but this is the first one, the first challenging one. So we're gonna have to make sure that we add this into any of our future regulation change. So without any discussion, so Joe, you ready? It's a roll call?
Yeah, I guess it should be.
Yep. So you're
Okay.
first, yep.
Yeah, I move to approve it for the reasons stated in the motion.
Who's second, Fran? Yep.
I second it for the same reason, and we're trying to change these regulations to allow for accessory dwellings, especially for family members.
Ron?
I agree, basically for the same reasons, and that I just wonder if, it's an interpretation of the adjuster insofar as it meet all of our existing requirements prior to it. So,
And I approve it as well for the same reasons. You received your variances and done all your due diligence on it, so we thank you. So that motion passes 4-0. Old business, we're still old. Town planners report.
Okay, so just a quick update regarding 40 Cyril Road. I still have not heard anything from DEP, so we have not received a report. However, I have received, which is in front of you, a letter from Bob Constantinople on behalf of the North Branford Citizens Against Bulk Propane Storage, dated March 12th. So just to give you an update and kind of go through some correspondence. On January 15th, you all received a letter and petition requesting that this board have a public hearing once the item comes back to planning and zoning. Then on February 3rd, we had a letter from Attorney Young stating that planning and zoning would be able to have, he says, the Planning and Zoning Commission may hold a hearing on the wetlands report, but it must render a decision within 35 days. So again, we would have 35 days from the date of the report from DEP to take action. This has prompted some more discussions, or just to keep you all in the loop. So I've had some emails with Chris Kranick just about the status of things, and also with Attorney Young. And after talking with Attorney Young, I'm giving you an update now. That being said, there's nothing for this commission to act on at this moment because we're still waiting for a report from DEP. And after talking with him, because that 35 days is such a limited time period, if the commission wanted to have a public hearing, I think it's at that time, at that meeting, that you would decide, you know, the first, as soon as I find out that we have a report, we would have a meeting, at the, you know, the next meeting, make a decision about having a public hearing or not, and then we would advertise, ideally advertise, I would think in the Register because that's a daily, but maybe also the Sound. The challenge with the Sound is that we have to wait a week. So say I even find out, or longer, say I find out, I get the report on a Thursday, well, they need notice on Wednesday for the following Thursday. So right there, we're already out 2 weeks. But the Sound is where we typically advertise, and we typically advertise 2 times for each public hearing. These are all just kind of things to think about as we go forward with this. Again, I have no idea what the timeline is for a report from DEP. I have not heard anything from them. There is some concern, though, that we only have 35 days to take action.
So, you know, when you were mentioning 35 days and then waiting to our next meeting to decide, why couldn't we decide ahead of time that we would say, you know, we would do a vote, you know, based, you know, have a public hearing, you know, we can discuss it, and then we can set it in place. Because when we have 35 days, if we waited to the next meeting, we might only have one regularly scheduled meeting in between.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do it in advance, and then we get to 35 days, we have possibly, depending on what week it falls, but we would have definitely one scheduled meeting, maybe 2, most likely 2, and then maybe we can schedule, if we needed to, a special meeting in between on one of the weeks. But we could do the pre-planning. So then if you do get notice on a Wednesday, first of all, if we decide to have the public hearing, we can get that information out, say, the next available meeting after it comes down from wetlands, planning and zoning is going to make a public hearing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least allow, I don't want to say public hearing because there's a whole different process. We're going to allow public comments. We can get that information out through, you know, Chris and the different groups out there. We can use some social media. We can also, if it comes in before a town council meeting, we can, you know, ask the town council, or one of us can go and just make an announcement during the town council meeting, which is also on TV. So I think we can, if we pre-plan it, at least we can get as many meetings we can and set a timeline up, because like I said, we have to take action within 35 days. If not, it's automatically approved. So, I mean, we want to make sure that we have our, you know, we put our stamp on it, you know.
Are there any ramifications if we don't meet that 35-day window?
It automatically gets
Notifications.
approved. It automatically gets approved. If we do not vote on and take action on it in 35 days, it's automatically approved application. And that goes with anything. Once you hit the time, unless you get an extension, I think it's automatically approved.
And just to clarify, the 35 days is a different timeline than what we typically would have.
It's the worst
There's
case
a
scenario.
statute, let me just cite it here so that one. The 35 days is because we're waiting for wetlands, and essentially the timeline for planning and zoning has run out. With a site plan, we only have 65 days to act. I don't have the statute in front of me, but when that situation occurs where planning and zoning has run out of time and you're waiting on a wetlands report, because we have to have a wetlands report in order to make a decision, then the statute allows another 35 days. to
Does
act.
wetlands have to have a meeting, or is this just the state meeting?
Just the state, the local wetlands is not involved.
Do you need to schedule the cafeteria?
I will,
Because this room fills up quickly.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We will do that. You're talking about for the public comment portion,
Right,
or- yes.
Yes,
Right.
is whatever notification
No,
we go out
that's a
there,
good
we're having a meeting, it'll be up, we'll have to, Carrie will have to work with, whether it's the, if it's not NBIS because something's going on there, then maybe it'd have to be at Jerome, or maybe, it'd be a last minute thing. I mean, hopefully we don't find out on a Wednesday and then our meeting's that Thursday. Hopefully we get a few days so we get the message out pretty quickly. But by my math, I mean, it looks like we could get at least 2 meetings, 1 regular scheduled meeting, and then 1 special meeting if we decide that way. Or we might be able to get 2 regular meetings, maybe an additional one if we needed it, depending on which, how much time in advance we get down. So, I mean, the best case would be is that tomorrow we hear. I mean, like the Friday after a meeting, because that'll give us, plenty of time to get the word out, schedule different areas, and then maybe consider a special meeting also to give the public a more opportunity to speak. So,
I'm kind of curious, though, what is the theme of this public meeting? If the wetlands report comes back favorably, is there any legally thing that we can do
as far as what?
as far as stopping the construction?
Well, I mean, I don't think we should get in that topic right now, because it's not in front of us.
I
but-
think this is kind of reiterating your question, but I think that the public hearing or public comment would just allow for public comment.
Yeah, okay.
Just kind of answering your question with the
Well,
question.
let people vent.
Right.
Right,
Well,
it-
there's
it's-
also, but there's a lot, there's a lot of information that we need to process, and any site plan, doesn't matter what it is. If there wasn't a reason for us to look at it, and take a look at it, and, act on it, then it would be just a rubber stamp. It meets, somebody's putting on somebody's building a business or something like that, and it's a site plan. Well, as long as it fits all the criteria, it could be just, you don't need us, the building official can do it. But we look at certain, we look at other things. One of the things we look at is, we look at the architecture, like when we're looking at, we look at, where it is. What is the public safety on the curb cuts and stuff. So there's a little more to it than just the regular what doesn't meet the technical specifications.
Pick up on what Charlie said, is the public comment on the site plan? Or, because we had a public hearing.
It's not on the regulation. We're
No,
going to be
it's
looking
strictly on
at the
it's
site
strict-
plan at
yeah, it's
this
strictly on
point.
the pipe, on the site plan.
Okay.
So, yeah, so like,
Yes,
the-
that's,
so the
so you have
application,
something to,
yeah, it's strictly on the site plan.
otherwise it'll be just venting. And
Yeah, it's not like, we're gonna, it's not, we should keep it on point of the site plan. The public, and we will guide them that way. It can't be, it shouldn't be on any generalities about, it should be specifically on that site. And based on the proposal that they come forward with, whatever, I'm not sure the actual, all the technical specs of it, but it should be specific on that site plan and impacts, so.
So do you want to take a vote on that, about having public comment, public input at this evening, March 31st?
I think we should do it on March 31st.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll give everybody a chance to think about it.
Well,
Maybe we could think of.
We don't know if we have the site plan yet.
No, I mean, we have the applications here, but no, we're just taking it, we're just saying that we'll have a discussion and take a straw vote or whatever, but just whether we wanna, we wanna open it to the public.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nothing about the
Oh,
application, no,
yeah.
just about, because maybe we can get the word out.
Well, why don't we just decide that now? There's enough of us here.
Oh, I mean, if you're right, if you wanna make a decision.
I mean,
So-
I would vote for having the public be aware with as much announcement as we can get to them, and have them able to put their input on the site plan.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the meeting, they have to understand that we can't do anything about this regulation. The regulation is there, we've made changes to it for the future, but that regulation is there. And we can only go on the site plan, and, they should be able to comment on that, and then we have to take a hard look at that and see if there's something that
Yeah.
isn't.
Is there a way
Right.
of getting the site plan out there? Because it, only
Yeah.
insofar as, public input is always good. But, if the site plan is up here in the day of the meeting,
The
they
site
have,
plan's always on the,
Yeah.
it's always.
But Ron, if we can, maybe we can, as soon as we announce it, there's a couple of things we can do. I've taken some notes down. One, we can have the site plan out front for people to come in during the course of the day. Maybe we can actually, when we load it up with our agenda, maybe we can put a copy of the site plan in with the agenda as well. So, I mean, maybe if we post it up on some social media as well, maybe we can, take this site plan, or at least some kind of shot of it, and put it as, and post that up as well. So, I mean, there's gonna be, if we have more than one meeting, hopefully we get the word out, we get enough people in the first meeting, the word gets out.
Mhm.
But I'm sure if we have a second meeting, for those who did not hear about it, will be informed that there's gonna be a second meeting. So we're not just having one. So the first one might be a little challenging,
Yep.
but the second one, I'm sure in that 2-week period or even 1-week period, if it's a special meeting, the word will get out, and the folks that couldn't make it to the first meeting and didn't hear about it will have the opportunity to the second meeting as well.
have we ever published anyone else's site plan
Uh,
prior to meetings?
Not since I've been here.
I
Doesn't
can't
seem-
ever remember.
yeah,
Yeah, that's,
doesn't say we
I
can't
mean,
though.
I'm
Well, we can.
I'm playing devil's
Yeah.
advocate. I first said I wanted it. Now are we legally stepping beyond our bounds of putting it out there? Is it public?
It is public information.
I mean,
then we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that have come in, I've seen people when I've been here at Town Hall come in and look at, some plans or whatever was, I think it was big, when we were doing Big Y, a lot of people came in to look at it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can publicly inspect it if you would like. So, Ron, you're in favor of that?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Charlie?
Yeah, with a shot.
I'm as well. So, that's, it's 4-0. So we will, I think what we should do as well is maybe carry, between me and you in the next meeting, on the 31st, maybe we can come up with some steps that we're gonna do, and then, we can, just our plan, so we can, maybe we wouldn't be able to solidify it on the 31st, but at least put it together so that we know who's gonna be responsible for what. So, and then by talking now, and
Mhm.
hopefully people are either gonna read the minutes or watch it on TV, at least know there's a process going on that we will kind of roll out there, so when this does get handed down, that we can move forward pretty quickly and get as many people as formed as possible.
Okay.
I just have to inform you, I don't know when this is all going to happen, but the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, I will be in Vermont at some classes.
Oh, April?
So, yeah, so hopefully it won't come then, but if it does,
Well, and the town council has budget hearings on the 5th, 6th, and 7th, so.
We'd have
Okay.
to do something
Yeah.
special. We would send the limo up to get you, and then to bring you back. We'll have them wait, and we'll make sure there's a full bar and a tooth for the ride back, all right?
then I'll do it.
I'll back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get you a good one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we're not getting any indication from the state about, this is all preliminary. For all we know, it's going to be next year at this time.
Right, or it could be next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not heard from them.
Do you have anything else, Karen?
No, that's everything.
Really?
Yes.
I'm gonna be
Corned
on the
beef.
road. No, I'm kidding. Charlie?
I just had one comment. And when I was reading the notice of the regular meeting cancellation, meeting on August 20th,
Oh, yes.
2015.
I know, yes. Sorry about that. Lynn
I even missed that.
posted it, and Gina in the town manager's office caught it, but not before your packets went out.
No, yeah.
So she did change the
I
one on
wondered
the
if I
board.
missed something.
No. So she said, I already did the packets. Should I change them? I said, no. They probably don't even read them anyway, but you proved me wrong.
Well, what do you think? Do we read them or not?
And just a reminder for anybody whoever will be watching this on TV, that the April 7th meeting will be canceled. And in lieu of that, we're going to be having a special meeting on March 31st in its place. So the March 7th regular scheduled meeting is canceled, and we'll be having that, we'll have that special meeting on the 31st.
Here, at 7.
It's here, it's 7. Charlie, now it's
I'd like to make a move to adjourn.
A
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.